I'm Coco, and I'm here today with a really good friend of mine, Tolu. She is Gold-Faced Artistry on Instagram, and she is a professional makeup artist. So can you talk a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, I've been doing makeup for about 3 years now. My specialty is bridal, so I'm doing a lot of weddings here in Atlanta, and today we're going to be doing a very glowy summer look, so I'm very excited to be working with you.
Awesome. So I worked with Tolu, it was like once last year.
Yeah.
She randomly DM'd me on Instagram and I saw some of her work and it was absolutely beautiful, and she helped me with a makeup look for an event that I was doing. And honestly, guys, it was like the best I've ever looked. So today she's gonna kind of show me how to recreate that look. It's just a really simple, like glowy kind of.
Since Coco is already prepped, we're just gonna go in with a moisturizing spray. This one is by Coco. I really like this one because it smells great and you can find it at Sephora. How does that smell?
It smells like really fresh.
Yep, I love it because of that. So after I do the moisturizing spray, I like to go in with a water-based toner, especially for people who have oily skin. You don't want to use a whole bunch of oils. Kind of just press that into the skin to make sure it's really moisturizing. I just get it all over. After I've gone in with the water-based moisturizer, I do like to use this moisturizer by Kiehl's. It is very emollient, which means kind of oily, but it creates a slip that I feel just makes the skin look a little more natural and less cakey. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of that. And I use the back of my hand a lot. And same deal, just gonna tap it into your face.
Do you use a damp beauty blender for?
This is damp.
Okay.
And you want to squeeze out as much moisture as possible. That way you're not lifting up product. I think a lot of women think it has to be soaking wet and then they get frustrated. But really the secret is wetting it and then squeezing it off with a clean towel.
Got it.
That way it's just perfectly damp. This is the Refined Zone Skin Treatment. It's kind of like a gel and it's mattifying. So we're gonna add that to your T-zone. So we're gonna just tap that into the forehead. Cool. So this basically is my skin prep routine. And then I like to go in and match the foundation. So a lot of times women get kind of scared when they have some hyperpigmentation in their face, and they'll tend to try and match their face instead of matching their body. So you always want to make sure that you have a cohesive thing going on with your face and neck, as well as your chest. I would say the best place to match is probably the center of your chest because that's kind of what the eye is drawn to, especially if you're wearing something low cut like this. This shade is called New Caledonia, and I'll probably actually be mixing it with another one that's called Bellum.
So how do you know when you need to mix foundations? And do you mostly mix foundations for your clients?
When the shade is a little too red, sometimes brands can make them a little too yellow. So you might just need that in between. Foundations that have a red undertone are really great for hyperpigmentation because it cancels it out. So if you find that you do have some darkness, you can go with a red foundation and go over it with something that's a little more neutral. We're not gonna use too much foundation because you already have great skin, but just to get the color a little more accurate around the neck area, I'm just gonna use a little bit right under the neck as well. Great, so for the glow, I like to use a liquid highlighter. This one is by Giorgio Armani. It's the number 3, and it's just kind of golden. And what I'm gonna do is use my fingers to put that on the high points of your face. So if you turn that way.
This way?
Yep. So I'm just gonna use the light. And I'll have you smile for me. And you kind of wanna stop that glow right on top of the cheek. Just gonna blend that out with the Beauty Blender. So now for highlighter. Basically what highlighting does is it brings forward some features so that your face doesn't look flat. I like to add a little bit of oil because the skin right under your eyes is a lot thinner and I don't want it to look cakey. So I'm gonna mix that in
That's so different to what I see a lot of makeup artists doing, because I see them like putting their concealer on and then like caking it with powder.
With people who have good skin already, you don't want to layer on too much. So you're basically working to blend it out until it looks like almost nothing is there. It's just kind of the light transferring. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and set your face. My favorite setting powder is by Danessa Myricks. She has 5 shades, which makes it really easy for makeup artists to kind of mix. And the Beauty Blender is really great for melting it into the skin.
So are these powders that you could like take with you on the way if you like start getting oily, or would you recommend another?
I would recommend a translucent powder.
Okay.
Translucent powders have no color, and that's great because you don't want to be building up more cake. I'm glad you asked that because typically when people touch up, they forget to get rid of oil. And if you don't get rid of the oil first, it kind of creates a cake batter.
Oh, really?
So you want to have like some blotting sheets, get rid of the oil first, and then go in with the translucent powder, and you'll find you need way less powder. So I did leave the higher points without any powder because I like to use the slip that I created with my skin prep and foundation to help attach some highlighter. I'm actually going to use this highlighting powder to set the high points of the face. So what this is doing is it's just kind of intensifying the glow. If I had gone in with a powder, it would be very difficult for this to stick on your face. So
this is layering it on top of the Giorgio Armani.
Exactly.
One that you did.
Now I'm gonna go in with a brows.
Okay.
It looks like you already have your brows microbladed, so I don't have a ton to do because I personally like brows to look natural. So I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia Granite Pencil.
Okay.
This is a micro pencil, which just means it has a very small tip. It's really great if you're trying to get hair-like strokes. They have another pencil that has a wider tip, but it's very difficult to create a natural brow with that. So
that's my favorite brow product, by the way.
It's awesome. So what I like to do is kind of imagine the shape that I want, which it's not hard to imagine with you. So I'm just gonna build up the arch a little bit. And what happens when you build up the arch is it actually makes the space in your eye look larger. Since your eyebrows are already pretty filled in, that's really all I'm gonna do so that we don't go too dark.
Yeah.
And just brush it out a little.
So I use the dark brown color. How do you know whether to use like a darker like black versus brown?
Yeah, great question. My favorite one to start with is the Anastasia Soft Brown. I feel like it's a perfect shade for women of color to kind of get the more hair-like strokes. So you'll start with that and then you'll build it with a dark brown.
Got it.
Either with a red undertone or one that's neutral.
Okay.
And then for your eyes, I'm thinking something smoky with just like a pop of gold. And I'm just working to blend this out. I like to even go into the brows a little bit, just so it looks seamless. Like that.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Yeah.
So how many, because my makeup brush collection is almost non-existent, besides like whatever brushes come with the products I buy.
Right.
What, like, if I was to want to purchase just a really basic set that I could use, like, how many would that be and like what shapes would be really necessary?
I would say the most important shape for your eye is definitely going to be the 217 style brush. So I'll pull up another one. This is really great for getting right inside the crease, blending it out. You can also use it under the eye as well. So I would say just get a couple of these. At MAC, I think they're under $20 or around $20, so they're pretty affordable. And then for eyes, if you're not like a huge eyeshadow person, this is actually my favorite palette. It's called the NARS Loaded palette, and I like it because it has a lot of neutral shades.
Oh, those are very pretty.
So browns, blacks. You can create daytime looks and smoky eyes. So I would say this is a great starter palette. And for foundation, I mean, that generally is up to the person. But for the face, one of my favorite brushes is the 99 brush. This brush is great because you can get it right under the eye. You can use it for contour. So it's very versatile, and you really only need one. So I have a couple of them because I have lots of clients, but this is really great if you're not trying to spend a lot of money on makeup.
Okay, it's pretty simple then.
Yeah. So on the center of the lid, I'm going to actually use this kind of gold color. I'm just adding that to the center of the mobile lid. And then I'm gonna blend it out. So now what we're gonna do is go in with some blush. I'm gonna start with this maroon color. It's from Benai, which is like first stage makeup, but I believe you can get it online. And what I like to do is start as far back to the ear as possible and then blend it forward, so there's not too much in the front of the face. So smile for me.
And that goes right under the highlighter.
Yep, right, kind of on top of it, actually.
Okay.
Cool. So now what I'm going to do is your lips. I'm thinking something glossy.
Okay.
So this color is one of my favorites. It's called Richer Luster by MAC, and it has a very orange undertone, which just looks really pretty. And then I have another one that's more metallic by Smashbox. It's really called pretty. Petal. So we'll kind of see how these two work together.
Do you feel like you need lip liners with gloss?
Typically no.
Okay.
If you're working with something more opaque, definitely want some sort of transition, but this is gonna be more of a sheer wash, so it's not as important. And then in the center, I'm gonna add the metallic, and this kind of just makes your lips look fuller. And then I'm gonna go in with the setting spray. So this is a mattifying one by MAC. They just released this one. So this kind of just helps set the makeup down into the skin. And then the gloss over top. What I'm gonna do now is use the MAC Skin Finisher powder. This is called Dark Deep. It has a red undertone, which I really do like. And I just like the finish of this powder. It's very skin-like, so it's kind of like a Photoshop type finish. So I like to do this at the very end. And then I'm gonna pop a little more blush on your cheeks, just to add a little more color. And this mirroring technique is used a lot by artists, where you kind of pull in the color in the eyes, you use it on the face, you use it on the cheeks. It just kind of brings everything together. So we wanted to add a bit of glam and smokiness under the eyes. So I'm actually gonna use the Sephora Chubby Pencil. It's number 17, their black one. So we're going to tight line her eyes and pull that down, look up for me. And it's just gonna add a little more glam to the eye and make it pop. Then what I'm gonna do is smoke it out just a little bit. This is the MAC 219 brush. It's kind of like a pencil brush. And I like smoking things out. I just feel like it looks a lot more natural. So this is our finished look. Coco looks beautiful.
Thank you.
I really like how the burgundy kind of complements your red undertone. I think it's really pretty and soft.
I really love how this turned out. I think the colors just go so well together. And the best part about it is that these are like all products that we can find at Sephora, Amazon, Ulta. And I'm definitely gonna be like taking pictures of all the products so I can try and recreate this look at home. Tell everyone where they can find you online. She's based in Atlanta, so if you're in Atlanta too, definitely check her out.
Yeah, my Instagram is gold-faced artistry, and the face has an ED at the end. And I also have a website, goldfacedartistry.com. If you'd like to, right? And I do classes. Yeah. So if you're an artist in the Atlanta area, that's great. I have one-on-one classes, but I will be having an online course as well for those of you who are out of state. Thank you so much, Coco, for having me.
Thank you so much.
This has been awesome.
It really has been.
Yeah.
And so you guys can definitely let me know what you think about this look. Like, subscribe, follow Tolu, and we'll be back next time.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Bye.